Wait, I forgot I was a VTuber. Wait, I forgot I was a VTuber. Wait, I don't even have VTube Studio up. Why? How did I forget VTube Studio? I'm gonna. This morning has been stress. I've been trying to fix my internet all morning, so I am a little bit disheveled. I'm a little bit all over the place. I'm sorry. How y'all doing today? Welcome to class. Settle in. Ding dong, ding dong. Class is in session. Today we're talking about the Kraken. This is going to be the start of a brand new series here on the channel where I talk about some creepy cryptids, some creepy creatures out there that may or may not exist. I don't know. We'll learn about them, and they'll be from different cultures and stuff around the world, starting off with the Kraken. Yes. It'd be a good idea if I made these into videos. That's exactly the plan, my dear. A lovely person in the idol work team will be making these into long form content for y'all. So if you do indeed miss out on the stream itself, that's totally okay because a long form content video will be on the way. I do want to make this a continuing series, but there is a lot of research that goes into it. I did actually make a list of references, APA formatted references that I'll put in the description later.
Holy, she actually went and referenced everything like some kind of college assignment.
Sources cited stealing from the rich. Yar. Stealing from college papers and good folks on the internet that have done their research. No. Yeah, so today we're going to be talking about the Kraken, the legend itself. It's usually seen as like an aggressive sea monster or something that's many tentacled, a destroyer of ships perhaps. Now, Chad, I have to ask you, what comes to your mind when you think of the Kraken? Big octopus, big squid, hot. Someone said, just no explanation, just hot. Sea of Thieves, Kraken, yeah, bye. Yeah. Big yabai. We're sailing on the seas and then a Kraken encounters us. Uh-oh, raggy. We're in big trouble, you know? Sinbad? Oh God. One Piece, really big squid. Me? Question mark? Oh, I can't read that. Well, let's explore that, shall we? Maybe your perception of the Kraken will change. This perception of a many tentacled creature that kind of harasses sailors or fishermen has come up in like a lot of different cultures around the world. There's something in Greek culture, Caribbean, Japan, Maori. So I thought we might explore some of those a little bit because I think it's very interesting that throughout the world, even like, you know, how many ever seas apart we are, we all kind of come across and come up with our own explanations for these terrifying things that happen to sailors. Let's explore what perhaps different cultures around the world have to say about this so-called many tentacled beast. So let's start off with Greek mythology, shall we? This is the one that I perhaps was the most familiar with in the mythos of Skyla and Charybdis. If I mispronounce that, I am sorry.
She did in fact pronounce that wrong.
Scylla.
Sorry, it wasn't a choice, okay? It was just 1, 2, 3, 4. I didn't have a chance to choose. It comes up in Homer's Odyssey, which is the story of Odysseus's great adventure. Weirdly enough, not in any chronological order, which is annoying. Scylla. In the actual tale itself, Odysseus is charged with choosing between Scylla, oh my God, Skyla, whatever. This immortal female creature who is written to have 12 feet, 6 heads on snake-like necks. Very like, what is that word? Hydra, there you go, thank you very much. Loins filled with baying dogs. Can you imagine you take a girl home and there's just dogs? And was originally a human transformed by a jealous Cersei. Oh my God, that's me, Cersei mention. And then Charybdis was thought to have been, she would like vomit up the sea multiple times a day. So it was like a personification of like a quote unquote like whirlpool. So it represented kind of the dangers that sailors will have to face at sea, kind of choosing between two evils. Choose to get your ship absolutely destroyed or, you know, fight off like the natural disaster of a whirlpool. So it's kind of like a bad time, either or. What about in Maori culture? I have a Maori friend who helped me pronounce this and I did not bring it up. Te weke muturange. Muturange?
She also pronounced this wrong.
I'm so sorry if I mispronounced it. I tried my best. It was an octopus-like creature that would steal bait and fish. Kupe, who was a Polynesian explorer, set out to hunt the creature. Basically what happened was that this octopus was just mad stealing their fish. Kupe was just like, man, I hate this octopus so much. I'm gonna chase the octopus all the way from Hawaii and literally find New Zealand. Can you imagine? Like, this goddamn octopus, I'm gonna get him. And the octopus like, please, no bro, it was just a prank. And then he chases it and finds a whole ass country. Aotearoa is the Maori name for New Zealand. I hope I pronounced that right. The story happens where he gets close to this place called the Cook Strait, named the Cook Strait. This is where he fought the beast and eventually killed it and put its eyes upon 2 isles where it said that the current is particularly strong, and these are called like the brothers that like watch over the ships that come through this area. So there's like heaps and heaps of mythos that kind of surround these sea creatures that sailors kind of come across. In the Caribbean, there's this myth of Lusca, I think it's Lusca, who is a giant octopus or an octopus shark chimera. I found this picture, and if that is not the sickest I have ever seen in my entire life, I truly don't know what is. Sharktopus? Let me say, if I get taken down by a sharktopus, maybe I deserve to go. If not friend, why friend shape? There's a whole movie. Y'all, we have to watch Sharktopus movie. And in the Caribbean, there are these huge kind of sinkholes located in the Bahamas that are kind of sometimes connected with flooded underwater tunnels. And it is rumored that this creature lurks in between these. I have a picture of like the blue holes here. And like, is that not terrifying? I would make up chimera shark octopus thing to explain the deaths there too, because like, that's terrifying. Thalassophobia be damned. If I didn't love the ocean, oh yeah, it does look like a portal. A portal into like death. Y'all know the Reddit, the subreddit that's like r/nature is metal. Like this is exactly it. My sea does match it. Oh my God, we match. Me in the sinkhole. And then the last myth that I found that kind of relates to a many-tentacled beast is the myth of the Akoro Kamui, which is a giant octopus god, which is located in Hokkaido's Uchiura Bay. And it's said to be like a giant octopus god that is said to swallow ships and whales whole. Like one bite, like yum, 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 yum. Just a little meal. And because it is so red, like imagine a beast that is so big, so huge, that when it appears, the sky and the sea itself reflect off its body and paint the entire landscape in a deep crimson. That's some apocalyptic If I see that, maybe it's time. Like, that's so metal. Can you fight it? I mean, it's literally a god. But I mean, if you want to fight a god, I'm not going to stop you. So these are all the myths that I found throughout the world. I thought it was really interesting that despite where the myth of the Kraken actually originated from, which is from Scandinavian/Norway, there are so many other interpretations of these kind of tentacled sea beasts that are found throughout the world, like Japan, New Zealand, the Caribbean. Like those are so few and far between. And all of them have come up with similar stories to kind of explain these terrifying things that happen at sea. And I think that's sick as heck. So where did the actual mythos surrounding the Kraken come from? So the earliest recorded entries written about the Kraken date all the way back to 1755. I don't know about y'all, but I was not around in that time. Maybe y'all were. I was not. Earliest recorded entries were by historian and bishop, man of God, Eric Potopidan. Jesus Christ.
The names will get me.
Who recounts the creature in his Natural History of Norway, which was a book he wrote. He was a bit of like a naturalist, a biologist, man of God, but like loves the ocean, loves the sea. Man of my own heart. And he writes that and describes the creature as something that was round, flat, full of arms or branches, and would be the largest and most surprising of all in animal creation. Something that is 1.5 miles in circumference and looks at first like a small number of islands. Can I just say, do y'all even know how big an island is? Australia is an island. We're a big island, but like a small number of islands, that's insane. You know what's funny? I don't know how big 1.5 miles is, but I do know how big an island is. What's the canon gender of the Kraken? Oh. Uwu, I guess that's up to you to decide. Kraken-chan, is that you? So early depictions of the Kraken, this is all the way back, even before 1755, depicted as kind of like a bearded whale. It had tentacles and big eyes. And I want y'all to remember this. Remember this ugly guy, all right? He's not the prettiest, but by God, he's doing his best and I can't attack him for that. Over the years in Scandinavia, it becomes something that was like a legend and perpetuated by sailors going out on the seas. An interesting tidbit is that in his first natural history of Norway, where he recounts the Kraken, he actually describes it as something that could help sailors. He recounts that you can kind of tell it's coming by the huge amount of fish that come up towards the sea when it's hunting. And it was almost a sign of good omen if sailors were brave enough to venture out and kind of take advantage of the boom in the schools of fish. So he kind of even saw it as a good thing. And later on, this poem is particularly famous. I'd like to read it to y'all. This is a poem by Alfred Tennyson. It's literally called The Kraken. Below the thunders of the upper deep, far, far beneath in the abysmal sea, his ancient, dreamless, uninvaded sleep, the Kraken sleepeth. Faintest sunlights flee. About his shadowy sides, above him swell huge sponges of millennial growth and height, and far away into the sickly light, from many a wondrous grot and secret cell, unnumbered and enormous polypi, winnow with giant arms the slumbering green, there hath he lain for ages, and will lie battening upon huge sea worms in his sleep, until the latter fire shall heat the deep. Then, once by man and angels be seen, in roaring he shall rise, and on the surface die. Is that not a goated poem? Wait a minute, something ain't right, Tennyson. Is there any relation to Benjamin Ben 10 Tennyson? It might be, who could know? Have you ever seen Ben 10 and Lord Tennyson in the same room? I don't know. I think this poem is written so beautifully. A fun fact, actually, is, wait, that's spoilers. But remember this and remember this ugly guy. So that's kind of the lore, the way back lore that surrounds or predates the Kraken. So let's ask ourselves, where do these myths come from? Why are y'all making up myths of Krakens coming up to the surface, eating folk and stuff, wrecking ships? Where y'all getting this from? So overall, where there is a lack of familiarity, the ambiguity in our mind allows us to shape our perception of what we don't know into the things that we fear the most. It's kind of like when you watch a horror movie and you don't see the monster, it almost becomes scarier. And then when you see the monster, you're like, oh, it's kind of... It's kind of like the more that you don't know about something, your mind fills in the gaps of the terror of what it could be. I kind of with that. I with that so hard. Imagine like back in the day, like you don't even know what is eating all your fish and you're like, well, I guess it's a giant monster because what else would it be? Can you imagine? I missed my bus. I bet a monster ate it. God damn it. It's really interesting as well because in early sea charts, when you look at sea charts from way back in the day, the outlines are filled with all these fantastical beasts depicting this inherent fear of sailors to unknown waters. Or what lies beyond these charted seas? I don't know, probably some monsters, probably the end of the world. What's also interesting is that particularly in Eurocentric beliefs, they're almost always tied to natural phenomena because they were so religiously based, they would kind of see things like stuff washing ashore, the dead remains of squid and the rotted remains of carcasses of sea creatures and be like, oh, I guess it's God's way of telling me this and that happened. And there was almost like, see this guy here, the sea monk, LMAO. What on earth is this guy? He's so ugly. And that's how you get wackadoodle stuff like this guy, the sea monk, because they were so religiously tied with all things that were naturalistic. They thought that all things that came from nature were created by God. Therefore, squids and octopus and stuff like that must also have human and religious components. If I have a monk, surely the squids also have a monk. So sorry, that's not very nice to the old days people, but like, I just think it's real funny. Like, man, it's kind of shocks that I get monks and bishops and the guys in the seas don't get monks. I think squids deserve a monk too. This is drawn by this guy whose name I will not even try to pronounce in 1854. So you can kind of see like the progression of these images of the Kraken over time, or like these tentacled creatures. So at least like back in the day, they're like, okay, yeah, squids exist, but what about when it turns up and it's half a squid? Maybe it was a sea monk. Mm-hmm. So, on to some famous media. Are y'all familiar with any of these? I know I am. I'm familiar with all of these. So, over time, the Kraken has become a little bit of a famous celebrity, one would say, among cryptids. I feel like it's pretty famous, pretty well known. In the Pirates of the Caribbean movie, if y'all saw it, there's a sick scene where Captain Jack Sparrow encounters the Kraken and it pulls and drags this ship under. That is the sickest thing I have ever seen. And the Clash of Clans, the very famous release the Kraken. It's funny because this Kraken literally doesn't even look like the Krakens that we're kind of used to. It almost looks a little bit crustacean adjacent. And then of course the ever famous The Call of Cthulhu, which I have kind of pictured here. A little bit of a lore tidbit is The Call of Cthulhu is referenced to and inspired by, do you remember that lovely little poem? That's what inspired The Call of Cthulhu, or the imagery of Cthulhu himself. I think that's pretty sick. I mean, all things aside from the author, I feel like if I read this, I would be like, yeah, I'm gonna write a whole book about a cool tentacled god. H.P. Lovecraft aside, I think it's a pretty cool concept. I love the evolution of storytelling over time, the way that people take inspiration from others' creations and kind of like build upon it, create more and more things and build upon these myths and legends and keep these things alive. What's a H.P. Lovecraft? Shh. Keep it a secret. So, now that I've given you the lore, do you think that the Kraken is fact or fiction? Fact. He's real. He's my real wife, actually. 1 million. What? How many zeros is that? 1,000,000% real? I would say a bit of both. Technically fact. I think since Santa is real, the Kraken must be real. Oh, 100%. You saw him last week? Yeah, I can confirm he actually wrecked my ship last week and I'm really upset about it. And I don't want to talk about it. Do you have ship insurance? Unfortunately, I don't think it covers a sea monster attacks. I wonder if it does. Hypothetically, if like pirates and the Kraken were to exist, would the ship insurance take the excuse of a Kraken attack so I could reimburse my pirate ship? Can you imagine? My ship got, so can I claim insurance? How did it get got? My Kraken ate it. Yeah, that's what they all say. Yeah, the Kraken insurance fraud is crazy. But honestly, is that not something that a pirate would do? Commit Kraken insurance fraud? Kraken insurance fraud? Is that not something that I would do? I think it would be. Let's look at the perception over time of the Kraken. In the beginning, we looked at it and it was almost like a group of islands. Something so big that it was impossible to kind of perceive as like a tiny little human being. Something that was so out of our realm of possibility that it was like, oh my God, it must just be like this huge thing. And then it becomes a sea monster, something aggressive and terrifying that would prey on the innocent souls of seafaring folk like myself, like yourselves. Or over time, Squid? Squid mention? A brief intermission. I love the ocean. I love the ocean. Do you love the ocean? I love the ocean. So let's learn a little bit about squid time, squid time, squid time, squid time, squid time. Squid time, squid time, squid time, squid time, squid time. It's squid time! The giant squid. Lovely. Amazing. Sick. Squid time, squid time, squid time. A little bit of a personal story. One of the first times I ever went to an aquarium, they had a giant squid exhibit where he was just suspended in ice or whatever solution they had him in. I remember looking at it as a wee lass and thinking to myself, wow, that is the sickest thing I have ever seen in my life. I'm about to make this my whole personality. Me listening to the guy talk about squids like, oh, really? Yeah. Oh yeah. They're what? They're how long? Oh yeah. So the giant squid, scientific name here that I will not pronounce, was first classified by Western science in 1857. Despite knowing that they existed and having, given it a scientific name and such, it is still so difficult to learn and kind of conduct scientific experiments and research on the giant squid because of how elusive it is. It's found in temperate waters all over the world, which explains all the other myths that we talked about in the beginning. How cultures in Japan, in New Zealand, in Maori cultures, Polynesian cultures in Scandinavia and such, all have these versions of the giant squid coming up because it lived everywhere. And it would just turn up ashore. Not turn up ashore, but it's like carcass would turn up ashore, So it's like, oh my God, a giant tentacled beast. Yeah, gonna live everywhere. So giant squid live very, 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 very far beneath the surface, 200 to 1,400 meters below. Do y'all even know the amount of pressure needed to sustain oneself at such depths? Squids are so cool. So usually what they hunt is fish, crustaceans, and they're also scavengers, natural scavengers, of course. Cool fun fact for y'all, giant squids have the second largest eyes of any creature on Earth. I think the first of which is the colossal squid. So it's like, oh my God, this squid is like really big. It's like 10 to 13 meters long. Sorry, I don't know how much it is in miles or whatever it is, but there's an even bigger squid. Can you imagine that it's like, okay, we found something. We're going to call it the giant squid. Oh, there's a bigger one. What do we call it? I don't know. Colossal squid? I don't know. Imagine if they find a bigger one. What do we call it? I don't know. I ran out of adjectives, guys. Sorry, I wrote this and now I feel bad about it. It's a solitary creature. Just like you. Just like me. Don't worry. We're all in solitary together. Just like this guy. So imagine this giant creature living all the way beneath the surface. If that's so, and if they only hunt fish and crustaceans and natural scavengers then where do these myths come from where they're attacking ships and are aggressive towards sailors? Are they just trying to blame the poor squid for their poor luck on the seas? Was the squid innocent the entire time? Using my boy to commit insurance fraud. That's exactly what they would do. I can't believe these fishermen. How dare they? But if they're so hard to find, then how do they keep popping up? How do we know more about them? How do we study them? Because they are so elusive, such solitary creatures, and so difficult to study because they live in such high pressure environments underneath the sea, we've been able to study them from the following. The dead carcasses that are washed ashore. So usually when squids are found at certain depths that are closer to the surface, it's usually because they are dead or close to dying, because they're not able to survive close to the surface with the amount of oxygen that is there. A lot of times, these sea creatures that are specialized to live in these areas. So for example, the blobfish or something, for example, or the anglerfish. If you took something that has evolved to exist in such a deep pressure environment and you take him and you bring him up. Have y'all seen Men in Abyss? Do you know what happens? Bad things happen. So that's why all the pictures of, for example, the blobfish look like absolutely wackadoodle, but it doesn't actually look like that. I'm sure he looks like a nice little guy under the sea where he's supposed to be, but because they take him above water and the pressure gets to him, he looks all which is exactly what would happen to you. Another interesting tidbit is that we were able to study them from studying their one and only predator, the sperm whale. The sperm whale is humongosaurus. Imagine you're this big and you still have a predator? My guy, leave me alone. I'm just a little guy and you're called the sperm whale? Come on, bro. I lose. Sperm whale are known to be the only predators of the giant squid. They love that cephalopod stuff. And how we find them is that we actually have found the undigested beaks in the stomachs of sperm whales, which means they've digested literally every other part of the squid except for the beak. We've also found through encounters with the squid. Oh, it's very interesting. Sorry, I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. Anatomy of a squid. We've got the mantle up here, which is this big head part. And then we have the shorter, quote unquote, tentacles. These are called arms. The two long dangly things coming down are the tentacles. And at the end of the tentacles are clubs. And the tentacles are covered in serrated suckers. Can you imagine getting whacked by one of these? So, this is a piece of sperm whale skin after his encounter with the giant squid, where you can see the scars of these circular sucker marks. You can almost see that it's like serrated. Like it looks like it's been freaking bitten. And you may say to yourself, look, the giant squid, we get it, all right? But how come we're not talking about the colossal squid? How come we're not picking the biggest, baddest guy out there to put this image of the Kraken onto? Good folk, I'll tell you, it's because the colossal squid is boring. He's boring. He's not boring. He's actually pretty cool. He has alternating hooks instead. Anyways, he has a really, really big mantle in comparison, so he's larger and heavier. But in contrast, because of that, he has to carry this big ass head with him. He uses up a lot less energy. So in contrast to what people perceive squids to be, they think that cephalopods are kind of like quote unquote aggressive. The colossal squid actually uses a lot less energy and is very much like a lion weight predator, which doesn't match the accounts of what the Kraken would be. But because there have been research, like scientifically researched, like true freaking quote unquote like battles between the sperm whale and the giant squid, they're like, okay, yeah, I guess like, I mean, if he can fight a sperm whale, I guess in that case, he could fight me. So remember this guy, remember this ugly guy, the bearded whale? Wait a goddamn second. This guy looks a little familiar, doesn't he? The mantle of a squid, the head, the arms, the big eyes. We got the giant squid at home. This is like if I drew a squid and I never knew what a squid looked like. It's like in those classical paintings when they paint a baby and it's like, you ain't never seen a baby before. What is this? It's like a fish with no father. You can't say that. You can't say that. Sorry for this guy for catching strays. He's doing a great job, okay? It's just, there's a cooler guy out there. So with that, I have reached the end of my little presentation. Are there any questions? What if the colossal squid are children of the Kraken that never grows to full size? Well, the thing is, like, the colossal squid is absolutely huge. Like, it's really, really... Actually, I'm gonna Google it for you right now. How big is the colossal squid? Combined body and tentacles, 46 feet or 14 meters. It's Cthulhu in the Mariana Trench. There are like heaps and heaps of myths and legends that surround these deep parts of the ocean that we can't kind of reach to. And it's like, why couldn't Cthulhu be in the Marinara? Marinara? Not Marinara Source Trench! Can I fight him? Yes, but only once. But also like, feels kind of bad now that you know that it's a squid that you would still try and fight the squid. It's just a guy. He's just a little guy. What is your overall favorite depiction of the Kraken? Both your fiction and mythological counterparts would be nice to hear. Okay. My favorite depiction of the Kraken is obviously... I actually don't really like the depiction of the Kraken in the Clash of Titans movie. I don't like that it grows legs and has arms and like is like really weird incrustation. Like I feel like it should remain like tentacly. That's the essence of the Kraken. My favorite depiction would have to be the Pirates of the Caribbean one. I like when it's like really essentially just like a big tentacled beast. I love that you don't even see its head. You just see the tentacles come up. It almost insinuates that it's so large that you can't even see the rest of its body. Like I love this depiction of Akoro Kamui, like just the tentacles coming up and then pulling you under. It's like this entire thing of like the more you see of it, the less scary it becomes. So like only seeing the tentacles come up and encapsulate the ship is sick as to me. I do also like the depiction of Cthulhu. H.P. Lovecraft aside, he looks sick as heck. Also, just looks like my boy Davy Jones. And that's kind of hot. I mean, oh yeah, sorry, I'll show y'all the sea monk. My favorite early depiction of the Kraken has to be the sea monk. He is so ugly. I just think he looks so wackadoodle. Look at him. Even in fictional depictions of monks, they are fighting a losing battle with hair loss. Like, that is so sad. Oh, it was a hairstyle. Sorry. Maybe he wasn't going bald. He was just flaunting his shaved head drip. Who would win, the Kraken or the monk? That's a real tough one. I mean, look at him. Is he not the epitome of terror, of horror on the seas? Does the sight of him not just instill fear in your very heart? Blind date, he shows up dressed like this. What do you do? Can you read me a sermon, baby? When you need to read out a sermon at 5 and then go steal some fish from fishermen at 9. No, relating to the Kraken. Not my favorite color. It's red, but blue of the sea, but also red. Like this red. The red in my bandana. Does a Kraken like pizza? These are not questions. I don't know about the Kraken's preferences for Italian food. Maybe he's a pasta guy. I don't know. Are you gonna do sea cryptids or are you gonna do all types? I want to do all types. I wanted to do a sea cryptid for the first, something that was like a little bit famous just because of, you know, we just debuted and I wanted it to be kind of thematic. And I was like, what is more thematic to a pirate than the Kraken? It's funny because the Mothman was unironically gonna be my first one, and I was like, actually, no, let's do a sea one. I really wanted to do the Mothman and have a picture of his fat dumpy on my PowerPoint. My favorite folklore. Ooh, I am very partial to the sea ones, which is a little bit of a cop-out answer. Well, I did choose one of my favorites to start off with because I really wanted to show this one picture. I'm kidding. Something like really creepy things like mad cow disease or something. Or like what's that thing called? Sorry. It's like a mushroom, fungus corn. Cordyceps. Oh my god. For some reason, I could only think of the first 3 letters and then the last letter in my head just skipped to corn. I'm like, no, it's not corn. Corn. No, stop, it's not corn. Corn. Stop, it's not corn. Yeah, like cordyceps, mad cow disease and stuff like that. There are so many cool, creepy ass stuff that exists just in nature itself that aren't even like related to any myth or anything like that have so many stories and stuff and research around them that are super, super creepy and cool that I would love to explore with y'all as well. Of course, we're gonna do sirens and mermaids. Yeah, we gotta do like pretty mermaid girls. But yeah, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope y'all enjoyed. Thank you so much for joining me today. Dane, bye bye. Otsu. I need to think of like a goodbye phrase. Anyways, bye bye.